Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be going over an article written by a woman where she's basically complaining and pointing out how men are now overreacting to the fact that because of the Me Too movement, we're now starting to avoid women in the workplace and so forth, and a lot of our actions are showing how and she claims that they're basically being punished because of Me Too. So I'm going to go over this article here. Lots of very interesting stuff that none of you will be surprised about because of how things have been going lately. And the title of the article is Men Now Avoid Women at Work. Another sign we're being punished for Me Too. And it goes on to say here at the beginning of the article, a new study has found U.S. men appear to be following Mike Pence's lead. Maybe they're angry that Me Too ever happened. And article says here, it looks like Mike Pence is quite the trendsetter. The U.S. Vice President famously refuses to have dinner alone with any woman who isn't his wife. And now working men across corporate America appear to be following his lead. Yeah, they're doing it to protect our asses. It says, hang on a second here, guys. It says a new study due to be published in the Journal of Organizational Dynamics has found that following the Me Too movement, men are significantly more reluctant to interact with their female colleagues. A few highlights from the research include 27% of men avoid one-on-one meetings with female coworkers. Yep, that's right. Almost a third of men are terrified to be alone in a room with a woman. Well, yeah, considering how things have been going and how pretty much you're guilty until proven innocent, God forbid there's an accusation about something, even simply as an overreaction. It says here 21% of men said they would be reluctant to hire a woman for a job that require close interaction, such as business travel. 19% of men would be reluctant to hire an attractive woman. The data above was collected in early 2019 from workers across a wide range of industries. Researchers had asked the same questions in early 2018, just as Me Too was in full swing, and depressingly, things appear to have gotten worse. In 2018, for example, 15% of men said they'd be more reluctant to hire women for jobs that require close interpersonal interactions with women, compared to 21% in 2019. Yeah, I mean, that's just the direction things have gone. I mean, don't blame us. Men are covering their asses because they can see what's happened. They don't want to be blamed for something they didn't do, or an overreaction happens and they lose their jobs. You know, it's not worth it to us anymore. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. Don't blame us. We're just covering our asses. It says here, it's not just men who are afraid of women, by the way. Women also appear to be increasingly wary of hiring women. The 2018 survey results found that more than 10% of men and women said they expected to be less willing than before to hire attractive women. And it says here in parentheses, note the 2019 results for women are not yet public. Internalized misogyny really is a bitch. There's been a lot of talk about gray areas in Me Too. All this harassment business is very difficult for men. We're told because nobody ever knows what sexual harassment is anymore. Exclamation point. Yeah, I mean, to some people, just simply joking around with a coworker could be labeled sexual harassment. It all depends on the person. But again, guys could make just harmless comments, really not meaning it, and the next thing you know, they're pulled into HR and warned about it, or they lose their jobs. It says here, men are afraid to even shake a woman's hand in case she thinks it's harassment. That's a bit much. Easier just to avoid contact altogether. What's really interesting about this study, however, is that it thoroughly debunks the argument that men are confused about what constitutes unacceptable behavior. The very first things researchers did was look at 19 behaviors. And it says in parentheses, emailing sexual jokes to a subordinate, for example, and get people to classify as harassment or not. Surprise, surprise, both genders basically agreed on what harassment entails. And it says here in quotes, most men know what sexual harassment is, and most women know what it is. Leanne Atwater, a professor of the University of Houston and one of the study authors, told the Harvard Business Review. The idea that men don't know their behavior is bad and that women are making a mountain out of a molehill is largely untrue. If anything, women are more lenient in defining harassment. So there you go. Most men are perfectly aware of the difference between a friendly hug and a creepy hug. They are perfectly aware of what constitutes harassment and what doesn't, which makes you wonder why so many men are afraid to interact with women at work? Question mark. I think a lot of guys should know definitely a difference between a friendly hug and a creepy hug, but at the end of the day, right now, this period of time, we're sadly guilty until proven innocent. And unfortunately, this is going to get worse before it gets better. But I'm talking about this article to see where, from the perspective of a woman, where things are going. But you can't make women happy, so. The answer to that question, perhaps, is a lot of men aren't so much afraid of being accused of anything as they are angry that Me Too ever happened. This is from her perspective. They're angry that we've been made to think about their behavior, made to interrogate power dynamics they always took for granted, and they are punishing women for refusing to interact with them. That's not at all. We just don't want to take any chances of getting fired or sued. That's it. It's worth noting, I think, that the Harvard Business Review article previewing the study's 2019 results is headlined, "The Me Too Backlash." You see that phrase a lot, and that framing subtly implies that Me Too went too far. That a backlash is only natural. It's yet another form of victim blaming, another way to quietly put women back in their place. See, more bitching and complaining. I don't care what you do in life, there's always going to be some kind of reaction in one way or another. Anything. Feminism goes too far, men are going to be sick of it, and you're going to have movements like Big Toe and Red Pill and all those type of things as a response to how things are done. And then we can do certain things, and women are going to respond in a certain way. So there had to be, obviously, a response to the Me Too and so forth. So, all right, guys. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. Let me know any experiences in your workplace. And also be sure to like the video, share with any friends, and subscribe. And I will talk to you next time.